All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling teachability and coachability.
Two qualities that can really make or break your leadership journey.
You send over this piece on leadership development,
Mm-hmm.
and one question really grabbed my attention.
Oh, yeah.
It asked, have you ever considered how coachable you are?
It's a good one, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
It's something we don't often think about.
Not really, no,
But
but maybe we should.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so
Yeah.
the source defines teachability as the willingness to learn.
Right.
Seems pretty straightforward, right? Just be open to new ideas.
Yeah, on the surface.
But I have a feeling there's more to it.
Oh, absolutely. Teachability, think of it as the foundation of all learning.
Okay.
It's that inner drive to grow your knowledge and skills without needing someone to push you.
Right, like it comes from within.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
what drives those late nights reading industry reports,
Oh, yeah.
or the hours spent mastering new software, or
Even just asking why when something's unfamiliar.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's that hunger for knowledge
Yeah,
that pushes us forward.
totally.
Okay, but what about coachability? Where does that fit in?
So teachability is about self-driven learning, right?
Hmm.
Coachability, it's opening yourself to guidance from someone else,
Okay,
admitting you don't have all the answers,
right.
and trusting someone with experience might see what you miss.
So being open to feedback, even the tough kind,
Yeah, and believing the person giving it wants the best for you.
like having a coach, a personal trainer, but for your leadership skills.
Exactly, pushing you further, helping you reach new heights.
Got it. Now, the source emphasizes both.
Yes.
Teachability and coachability are important.
It's not one or the other.
Right. You need both to truly excel.
You got it.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Like, teachability gets you in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Coachability helps you level up faster, more strategically.
For sure.
But how are they practically different?
Well, the main difference is where the learning comes from.
Okay.
Teachability often means seeking information on your own.
So books, articles, courses, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Even just observing and experimenting,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But coachability, that requires a relationship, a mentor, a coach.
Is someone to give personalized guidance?
Yeah, and feedback.
So tapping into someone else's wisdom.
Yes.
But does that make coachability better?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
They both have strengths.
Right.
Think of it like exploring a new city.
Oh, okay.
You could wander on your own, discover things organically.
Teachability.
Exactly. Or you hire a tour guide who shows you the hidden gems.
Coachability, right.
Both are valuable. It just depends what you want,
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It really shows how both are valuable.
Yeah,
But let's be honest, getting feedback can be tough,
it can be.
even for experienced leaders.
Hmm.
So why is coachability crucial for good leadership?
Because leadership isn't about knowing everything. No, it's about creating an environment where everyone learns and grows,
I see.
where they feel empowered to contribute.
Right.
That means being open to feedback, the good and the bad,
Yeah.
using it to better yourself and your team.
So coachable leaders are always trying to improve,
Always.
not just themselves, but the whole team.
a whole team.
They see feedback as a gift,
It is.
even when it's hard to hear.
Yeah.
Helps them become better.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we become more coachable? Is it something we're born with?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And the good news is coachability is a skill. You can cultivate it.
So we can learn to be more coachable.
Absolutely. It starts with recognizing you don't know it all,
Okay.
that there's always room to improve.
So a bit of humility,
A good dose of it.
but what are them practical steps?
Well, one of the biggest hurdles is our ego.
Oh, yeah.
We get defensive when we feel criticized.
Even if it's meant well.
Even then, yeah.
So detach from the ego and see feedback as an opportunity, not an attack.
You got it.
Easier said than done, I think.
It can be, but it's about shifting our perspective.
Yeah. Seeing it as a tool to help us grow
Exactly.
and reach our goals,
Right,
not a threat.
right.
Okay.
Another important step is being proactive.
Proactive.
Yeah, don't wait for feedback. Seek it out.
Oh, I see.
Ask colleagues, mentors, even your team.
For their honest opinions.
Exactly. On your leadership, your communication, your decisions.
So create a culture of feedback.
Yeah,
Where everyone's comfortable sharing.
and where their thoughts are valued.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
But what about when the feedback is really hard to hear?
That's where the willingness part comes in.
Oh, right.
It's not always easy, especially when it points out blind spots
Yeah.
or challenges our beliefs, but those are the moments when coachability matters most.
I'm starting to see how teachability and coachability,
Yeah,
they're two sides of the same coin.
that's a good way to put it.
You need the inner drive to learn, but also the willingness to accept guidance.
Absolutely.
How does this all connect to the bigger picture of leadership?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
And that's what we'll dive into next.
Right.
But for now, I'll leave you with this.
Okay.
Imagine a leader who's both teachable and coachable.
Hmm.
What kind of impact could they have?
On their team, their organization?
Yeah, even the world around them.
That's a great question to think about.
It is.
I have a feeling we'll uncover some fascinating insights in part 2.
Oh, I think so.
So stay tuned. So we're back, diving deeper into teachability and coachability
Picking up right where we left off.
with that big question. What impact can a leader who embodies these qualities, what impact can they have?
It really is a profound question.
It is.
I think it gets to the core of why teachability and coachability are seen as signs of great leadership.
Right.
These leaders, they create a ripple effect.
Okay.
One that goes beyond just their own personal growth.
So it's not just about them developing as individuals.
No, not at all.
It's about inspiring and empowering others.
Exactly. When a leader models teachability, they create a culture of continuous learning.
In their team, in their organization.
Throughout,
Yeah, makes sense.
people see it's okay not to know everything, to ask, to be curious.
Right.
That fosters psychological safety.
It's so important.
Absolutely crucial, especially for innovation and creativity.
Yeah. If people are afraid to mess up or admit they don't know,
Yeah.
they won't take risks, share new ideas.
Exactly.
So how does coachability fit into this?
Well, it goes hand in hand with teachability
Okay.
in building that positive culture.
Right.
When you're open to feedback, willing to take suggestions, you show your team you value their input.
You're not just talking the talk.
You're walking the walk.
You're committed to growth, not just your own, but the whole team's growth.
The whole team's, yeah.
Okay, so leading by example, showing that we all have things to learn and things to teach.
Exactly.
But let's get practical for a second.
Okay.
How can leaders who maybe aren't naturally coachable
Right.
actually become more receptive to feedback?
It's a great question.
Because some of us, we just bristle when we hear something we don't like.
Oh, for sure.
It's a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, it's important to acknowledge not everyone's wired the same.
Right.
Some are naturally more open to feedback, but just like any skill, coachability can be developed
Okay, good to know.
with practice and intention.
I like that. So how do we train ourselves? Give me the strategies.
I'm happy to share. The first step, and this might sound odd, is to become more self-aware
Self-aware. Of what?
of your reactions to feedback.
Oh, okay.
Notice when you get defensive, when you shut
It's
down.
like moments, yeah.
Ask yourself, what's triggering this?
Okay.
Is it the feedback itself or something deeper?
Like what?
Fear of failure, the need to be right,
Oh, those internal scripts we all have running.
Exactly. You need to understand those reactions.
Before you can change them.
You got it.
Okay. So we pause, examine those scripts. Then what?
Then you can develop coping mechanisms.
Like what?
Take a few deep breaths before responding.
Okay.
Repeat the feedback back to make sure you understand it. Or even just say, I need some time to process this.
Giving yourself permission to not have the answers right away.
Exactly. Take the time to absorb and integrate the feedback.
I like that.
Yeah.
But what if the feedback just feels wrong?
Yes, that's when things get tricky.
Yeah. Unfair. Inaccurate.
It's important to remember not all feedback is equal.
Okay, so some is more helpful than others?
Absolutely. But even when it feels off, there's usually a kernel of truth in there.
A kernel of truth. So try to see it from their side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if you don't agree, understand their perspective and try to separate the feedback from the person delivering it.
Oh, that's hard sometimes.
It can be, yeah.
We reject it because we don't like the messenger.
Right. But if you focus on the message itself,
Find those valuable nuggets.
you can turn even the toughest feedback into growth.
Powerful stuff.
It is.
But let's not forget teachability.
No, of course not.
It's not always about someone guiding us.
True.
Right.
You're right. Teachability fuels our own growth. Leaders who are teachable, they're always seeking,
What are they seeking?
new knowledge, new skills, new perspectives.
They understand the world is always changing.
And that they need to adapt to lead effectively.
Right. They're not just resting on their past successes.
No, they're always looking to improve.
But with so much information out there,
Yeah.
how do we even know where to start? It can be overwhelming.
It can. That's why intentionality is key.
Intentionality.
Teachable leaders don't just consume information randomly.
So they have a plan.
They do.
Okay.
They identify the skills they need for their goals.
Right.
And then they find the resources to help them get there.
So being strategic, focusing on what matters most.
Precisely.
Okay.
And don't limit yourself to just books and courses.
So what else?
Look for learning and everyday experiences.
Oh, interesting.
Conversations with colleagues, even failures.
So it's about seeing the world as one big classroom.
Exactly. Having that curious mindset.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but we've talked a lot about the good stuff.
The benefits.
Yeah, are there any downsides
That's a fascinating question.
to teachability and coachability?
Yes. While they're generally positive,
Right.
there are times they can be taken too far.
Okay, I'm listening. Tell me more about this potential dark side.
Well, imagine a leader who's so open to new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
They constantly change course, never sticking with anything.
Never finishing what they start.
Right. Chaos, especially in a leadership role.
Definitely.
And on the other hand, a leader who's overly coachable
Okay.
might become a people pleaser,
Oh, I see.
taking everyone's feedback, even when it conflicts.
Trying to make everyone happy?
Yeah. Which is impossible and unsustainable.
You lose sight of your own vision.
Exactly.
So it's about finding that balance.
Yes, between being open and staying true to yourself.
But how do we develop that discernment?
It's a combination of experience and effort.
Okay.
As you gain experience, you develop a sense of what fits.
Your values, your style.
Yeah, you trust your gut more.
Rely less on external pressures.
Exactly, but you can also be proactive.
In developing discernment.
Yes. Surround yourself with trusted advisors.
Mentors, colleagues, people you trust,
Whose opinions you value, who'll give you honest feedback.
even when it's tough to hear.
Especially then.
Like a personal board of directors.
I like that, yeah. Bouncing ideas, challenging you.
To think critically, make good decisions.
Absolutely. And another key part is self-reflection.
Taking time to assess your progress.
Regularly, yeah. Ask yourself.
Okay, what should I be asking?
What am I learning? Who's influencing me?
Mm-hmm.
Are these influences helping me become the leader I want to be?
Checking in, making sure you're on the right path.
Even as you learn and grow.
Okay, but we also talked about teachability and coachability
Yeah.
being used against us.
Right. That's a real danger.
So how do we protect ourselves?
It starts with recognizing not everyone has good intentions.
Some people might try to manipulate us.
Absolutely. Steer you in a direction that benefits them, not you.
So they're using our good qualities against us.
In a way.
Yeah.
How do we avoid that?
Look for red flags.
Okay, what kind of red flags?
Someone who always flatters you, tells you what you want to hear.
That's suspicious.
It is, yeah.
What else?
Someone who insists their way is the only right way.
Trying to control, not empower.
Exactly. Be wary of those who seem more interested in their agenda.
Then our growth.
Trust your instincts. Walk away from unhealthy relationships.
It's about owning our power.
Yes. You're in charge of your choices.
Okay, but now it's time to finally talk about the tricycle effect framework.
You're right. We can't leave our listeners hanging.
We've hinted at it. It was mentioned in the source material.
Right.
It highlights the connection between character, competence, and courage.
Okay, like a tricycle. Each wheel being one of those elements.
Exactly. But where do teachability and coachability fit in?
That's what I'm curious about.
They're the engine that powers the tricycle.
Ah, I see. The driving force.
That allows you to develop character, enhance competence.
And summon the courage to lead.
Precisely. It's not enough to just have these qualities.
They actively cultivate them.
Through teachability and coachability.
Okay, that makes sense, but break it down further.
Sure. Let's start with character.
Okay.
Teachability fuels character development.
How so?
It keeps you open to new ideas, challenges your assumptions.
Helps you grow as a person.
Exactly. The more you learn, the stronger your character.
Like fertilizer for the garden of your character.
I love that, yes. And coachability enhances competence.
By seeking guidance from others.
Mentors, coaches, you gain insights, learn new skills.
You become more effective.
It speeds up your learning.
Like a personal trainer for your career.
Precisely. Now, what about courage?
Yeah. How does that fit in?
Both teachability and coachability help cultivate courage.
Okay.
Because they help you embrace vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
When you're open to learning and feedback,
Mm-hmm.
you're less afraid of mistakes, more willing to take risks.
To step outside your comfort zone.
Exactly. And better equipped to handle challenges.
They give you the confidence to face the unknown.
Knowing you have the tools and support
It builds resilience.
Beautifully put. So you see how these elements
Character, confidence, courage,
are all interconnected
and teachability and coachability are the keys.
to unlocking this cycle of growth and leadership.
It's like a symphony of development,
I like that.
with teachability and coachability as the conductors.
Bringing it all together.
A beautiful image.
It is.
So as we wrap up this part,
Yeah.
I want to emphasize something.
What's that?
Leadership is not about having all the answers.
No, it's not.
It's about humility, curiosity, courage,
To admit when you don't know, to seek new knowledge.
and to put what you learn into action.
Exactly.
We're back for the final part of our deep dive, still exploring teachability and coachability.
I'm picking up on that idea that even good qualities taken too far
Right, even these qualities.
can become a problem.
Yeah, we talked about how an overly teachable leader,
Might jump from idea to idea,
never sticking with one long enough,
leading to inconsistency, lack of follow-through.
especially bad for leadership.
Oh, absolutely.
And then on the other side, someone excessively coachable,
Right. Always trying to please everyone.
bending over backwards to use every suggestion.
Even when the feedback clashes or just isn't helpful.
They lose sight of their own vision.
Exactly.
So it comes down to discernment.
Yes, with both teachability and coachability.
Being choosy about what we trust, what feedback we actually use,
Not just blindly accepting everything.
but filtering it, right,
Yeah.
through our values, our goals,
Exactly. Finding that sweet spot.
between being open but also true to ourselves.
That's the key.
But how do we get better at that? That discernment thing.
It's a mix of experience and effort.
Okay, so over time,
Naturally,
as you gain experience, you get a feel for what fits.
what aligns, what feels right.
You start trusting your gut more.
Yeah, not so swayed by what others say.
But you can also be proactive.
Okay, so what can we do?
Build a circle of trusted advisors,
People whose opinions matter to you.
mentors, colleagues, friends, even family.
People who will give you honest feedback,
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
even when it's not what we want to hear.
Especially them. It's like having your own board of directors,
To bounce ideas off of.
people who challenge your thinking.
Help you make the best decisions.
Exactly. And don't forget self-reflection.
Taking time to assess.
Yeah, how are things going? What am I learning?
Who am I listening to?
Are these influences good for me, for my goals?
Checking in, making sure we're on track.
Even as we stay open to growth.
But we also talked about these qualities being used against us.
Right, that's important to remember. How do we protect ourselves from that?
By remembering, not everyone has your best interests at heart.
Okay.
Some people might try to manipulate you.
Give advice that benefits them, not us.
Exactly. So watch out for red flags.
Like what?
Someone who's always flattering you, telling you what you want to hear,
But not being sincere.
or someone who insists their way is the only way.
Controlling, not helpful.
Yeah, be wary of those who seem focused on their own agenda.
Not on our growth.
Trust your gut. Walk away from bad situations.
That's so important.
Remember, you can always question the feedback.
Ask for more explanation.
Get a second opinion, or even just say,
Thanks, but I'm doing it my way.
exactly, you're in control.
Okay, but now I'm really curious about that tricycle effect framework.
You're right, we can't leave that hanging.
We've mentioned it a few times.
It highlights how character, competence, and courage are connected.
Like a tricycle. Each wheel being one of those elements.
Exactly. But the question is, how do teachability and coachability fit in?
Yeah, that's the key.
Think of them as the engine of the tricycle.
Oh, okay. The driving force.
That helps you build character, boost competence, and have the courage to lead.
So it's not enough to just have these qualities.
You need to actively develop them.
Through being teachable and coachable.
Precisely. Let's break it down further, starting with character.
Okay.
Teachability fuels character development.
Makes sense how?
Keeps you open to new perspectives, challenges what you think you know.
Helps you grow as a person.
The more you learn, the stronger your character becomes.
Like teachability is the fuel that keeps the character engine running.
I like that, yes.
Yeah.
And then coachability boosts competence.
By getting guidance, advice.
From mentors, coaches, you gain new skills, refine old ones.
You become more effective in what you do.
It accelerates your learning.
And then there's courage.
Teachability and coachability, they both cultivate courage.
How so?
They help you embrace vulnerability.
Okay, explain that.
When you're open to learning and feedback,
You're not so scared of making mistakes.
you take risks. Step outside your comfort zone.
You can handle challenges better.
Exactly. You have the confidence to face the unknown.
Because you know you have the tools, the support.
It builds resilience, so important for leaders.
So character, competence, courage, They all work together.
Interconnected, each one's strengthening the others.
And it's teachability and coachability that make it all happen.
They're the keys to unlocking this cycle of growth and leadership.
A beautiful system.
It is.
As we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave everyone with a final thought.
I'm listening.
Leadership isn't about having all the answers.
No, it's not about that.
It's about being humble enough to admit when you don't know. Curious enough to keep learning.
And brave enough to use what you learn.
To take action, make a difference.
Exactly. The world needs more leaders like that.
Leaders who are willing to learn, grow, evolve.
Be one of them.
That's it for our deep dive on teachability and coachability.
I hope everyone enjoyed it.
We hope you feel inspired to develop these qualities.
In yourselves, in others.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing,
And keep leading.